that works well with these two heroes that you like to see?
I like Shakiro a lot. I think it's support that's just... Some teams rate it really highly, and other teams, I feel like, barely know it exists.
Luna.
No, this is a hero I forgot exists. I can't speak today, Jesus Christ. It's been a while since I've seen Luna.
Picked up a couple times yesterday. I think the only game it got played, it might have lost. I can't remember. It was a best of one just throughout that whole day. But Luna here with the Night Stalker, Crystal Maiden.
Reserve time.
I like this lineup, especially with the lockdown you have. Lucent Beam, Frostbite, the slow and silence of Night Stalker.
I feel like it's a really weird pick though, because CM and Night Stalker are not heroes that you particularly want stationary in your lane, and Luna is not a hero you can leave on her own. So yes, they have a lot of kill potential between these three heroes. They have an insane amount of damage, but if Planet Dog just ditch that lane and don't give them that option, and then come back when like the two supports have left, I don't know.
Lena.
That's just my take on it. Like,
Radiant
I would rather have a safe lane core that can sustain on its own, something like Jug, Naix, AM even, against like the Darkseer stuff, and leave these two supports to be able to go to other lanes. But Loda's a huge Luna fan, so that probably has something to say in it.
5 seconds remaining.
So Lena here with Darkseer and Sand King. Lena gonna be
reserve time.
I would say mid, most likely. Anything can happen, of course. And it looks as though that Alina's going to be up against Puck, so interesting matchup between these two teams. Lena, Puck.
I feel like you'd want to put Lena support now, because like Night Stalker does an amazing job of getting on you. Puck is even better at doing that. You're super susceptible as a mid laner here, and sure you kill Luna really easily.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know. I feel like Corlina's risky already, unless they have like another plan.
Radiant
this is their saving hero, so that helps a lot.
Yeah, Shadow Demon, not something you see quite often, especially anymore.
Good counter to Luna. Good setup for their entire team as well.
10 seconds remaining.
So right now, looks as though Cool Beans, they're going with the blue team lineup. Planet Dog. No correlation. But
they're the rainbow team.
Yeah, you gotta wonder what blue hero comes out last. Could they? No, never mind.
Razor.
Could go
nah, probably not. Alright, blue offlane heroes. Let's have a look.
I guess Underwood's
mid heroes.
Greenish. Yeah, because you could put Puck offlane.
10 seconds remaining.
The Spirit Breaker, Slardar, Void. He's purple, I suppose.
Reserve time.
It's kind of like blue. Enigma, purplish, bluish, would have been nice. I want Team Blue. This is what I want.
It happens quite a lot, honestly. Like, a lot of the heroes that work well together just happen to be blue-purple. And I feel like almost every time EG plays when they don't pick Tree in PPD's era, they had like Puck, Luna, Drow, these kind of heroes. So it's kind of a living meme.
What could they do? We want Clockwork still available, not blue though. Would ruin the blueness. It's almost like he's been banned. Planet Dog. Shadow Demon, Lena, Darkseer, Sand King. What do you see coming with this? If Lena's your mid and Darkseer's your offlane, could you see Terrorblade come out for them? Or actually, never mind, it just got banned. No, I didn't just get banned, but it's on the bottom. But it is what I thought of first. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention.
Maybe a Slark?
I was thinking that too.
What else? I like heroes that can get on top of Luna and kind of scare away from fights, so like Slack, PA, stuff like that. But they don't really have the easiest time securing those safe lanes if the Sand King is on the other side of the map. Because Night Stalker is one hell of a hero to deal with. Right, Sven kind of shores up the lane a bit more and does the same kind of stuff in terms of getting in Luna's face. And it also gives them more of a frontline hero that combos really well with Darkseer and ups their teamfight potential a lot. I suppose this was like the obvious pick that everyone in chat's saying that I just forgot.
Could have gone with Spectre, maybe.
5 seconds remaining.
Spectre's probably a bit slow.
But the team fight right now,
Reserve
at
time.
least for Cool Beans in my opinion, is pretty good. Dream Coil, Eclipse, something you like to work with, you know, getting into the face of both Puck and Luna. With Night Stalker and Crystal Maiden, it seems like it's not... I feel like that's just going to be tough to
10
survive.
seconds remaining.
And they do go with the Clockwork, ruining the blue strat.
They still have the overall majority, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to be a blue team. But I think this is kind of what they needed, because yes, they have good team fight, but the main problem with their draft is if they're the ones getting initiated on, they're probably dying. So they want to be able to take the fight on their terms, and they have a lot of initiation through Puck and Clockwork. If they get to a point where Night Stalker has Ags, though Ags has been falling off a lot recently. You've seen a lot of people go more combat items like Vlad's, Maelstroms, Armlets. I'm not exactly sure
10
what the
seconds remaining.
majority build is, but regardless, if he does go Ags, the vision tool is going to be insane. But I do feel like they're on a timer, because Dog have just better late game heroes.
I was going to say, what's their win condition for Planet Dog? Because I feel like this Cool Beans lineup is going to be, you know, really aggressive quite early, especially once Clockwork gets that 6.
I feel like it's really on the Sand King and Darkseer. If the Shadow Demon's in the right place to counteract the ganks, that's great and everything, but like Sand King and Darkseer are the things that are going to let them be proactive this game. So if they do well in their lane and cause a lot of trouble, that's going to cause the most grief out of anything. And if it takes any attention away from the Lina, that means she's going to do fine in her matchup. Because Lina normally wins mid pretty easily. Puck's one of the few ranged heroes I feel like trades evenly. And then Night Stalker is an amazing roaming hero that once you get nighttime, maybe even a little before, depending on where the lane is, it's really easy for Night Stalker to just come in and kill the Lina.
Prepare
So that's
for
kind of where
battle.
like the Sand King needs to be helping out or getting a lot out of the map. And then if he gets an early blink or... I mean, I guess he doesn't really need blink when you've got Surge from Darkseer.
So, disconnect from the Puck. Take a look at these lineups, where everybody's going to go. Which team are you favoring? With Cool Beans up 1-0. I guess the pressure mounts a little bit more for Planet Dog with these lineups. Who are you favoring?
I feel like Dog have the simpler execution draft. They're not on any kind of clock. They just have to like play their game. And I feel like it's a bit easier for them. Like Lina, Sven, Darkseer is like really, really common course at the moment. The only thing that's like slightly unusual about their draft is for the Shadow Demon, which I actually think is just gonna make Luna's life a living hell. It's kind of like the AM matchup, you know. It's you just nearly kill yourself to illusions. Feels really, really bad. And there's also a wall on top of that, so more illusions.
Illusion Gaming back at it, just in a different way.
Yeah, the counter illusions.
And I kind of like this Planet Dog lineup. And I agree with you in the sense that they can just play their own game. The later it goes, the more comfortable they'll get. You know, the only way I see it really getting out of hand is if Cool Beans really do have just this amazing early game. and Snowball just so far out of control that Planet Dog can't handle it. But I feel like with that Sven, with the burst potential of Lina, I just don't see that happening.
If it happens, it's gonna be like really, really sick movements. Because, as I was saying at the start of the draft, Luna is not a hero you want to leave on her own, especially against Darkseid, who's constantly shoving the wave in, which makes her really easy to tower dive. Because the only safety Luna has is that the tower's gonna zone out heroes diving her, but if there's like 3 or 4 creeps underneath it, that's irrelevant. So these supports are gonna be pretty much stuck down here for at least the first 2 minutes. And they're going to try and zone Darkseid away. He's going to go to the jungle. Then they might move. And then Darkseid gets level 3, Sand King comes down, they try and kill the Luna. And if that happens, game already looks really, really hard. If they can somehow stop that from happening, and then make it so that they're the ones getting the kills on the Lina, which is really easy to roam on with these support duos, then that's how they like set their game up.
They get the slow out on Darkseer, and like you said, they're just going to continue to harass him out. You take a look at someone like Clockwork, you know, especially before level 2, before the battery assault, could we see him in a bit of trouble from the tri-lane that's up here?
They really lack damage. That's the problem. The biggest problem Shadow Demon suffers from is ever since they nerfed the level 1 poison, he can't zone offlaners. So you're basically demoted to stopping your carry, if that makes any sense. And then Sand King's gonna pull to get levels, and the Shadow Demons just, you know, they basically need some sick body blocks to get kills, and maybe like 2 Stormhammers or 2 Burrow Strikes, either or, to net the kill. And if they do that, then the Night Stalker ideally has a TP and comes in. Doesn't have one yet, but on the list of things to do.
So 33 just gonna try his hardest to use this Ion Shell to get those last hits. Does lead the top of the chart. Those are a couple of jungle creeps though at 9-0, and with him is that Sven, someone who can do a lot with a little. And I think when you talk about the early game of Cool Beans, you still got to think about the early game of Planet Dog. They'll have the Laguna at 6 for Lina. God's strength of Sven will make this team pretty brutal. You get in there with the Sven and an Ion Shell on him, and maybe the team fights early go the way of Planet Dog.
Yeah, they definitely have potential to play early, which is something that's gonna stop them getting run over if the lanes go badly for them. Well, I think that's just for luxury of this Lina hero. Can't wait till she gets nerfed again. She's either completely destructive to the metagame, or she's irrelevant. Sometimes you could see her as a support beforehand when she was like really underpicked. But I feel like this hero never has an in-between, which kind of sucks. She's hard to balance.
So, no rotations coming out mid at all from either side. Probably waiting for the first night on that Night Stalker. Do you have someone like Sand King, or maybe even both the Sand King and the Shadow Demon, just kind of babysit mid at night?
I think you definitely want one of them there and then the other one to have a TP, if the Night Stalker's not showing. I think Lina's the hero that, like... I don't think you'd mind too much if Sven gets pressured early, but Lina playing from behind really feels awkward. Especially in a draft that the other team gets in her face pretty easily. Because one of the worst things I've ever seen happen when you play Puck against Lina is you gank the Lina like kind of right about now, where Puck's level 5.
Actually just get the kill solo. Kaiser, one more shot. There it is. Puck.
And now Puck has coil, so Lina's gonna TP back in. Well, after the next wave, he needs one more creep. Lina's gonna TP back in. He gets coiled. One support stays here. Lina dies again, and then Puck's like level 7 while Lina's level 5. And the game looks awful.
Yeah, it's just...
So they need to stop that happening, basically.
Kaiser didn't avoid that illusory orb coming at him, and that was the damage they needed to know they were getting the kill. Blink forward towards it, or go into that illusory orb, get that first kill, put yourself close to level 6, and like you said, it could snowball out of control. So what is Alina? When Alina's behind like this, and now is in a lot of danger of getting taken out, what's your plan of action as the Storm Hammer comes out onto this Clockwork, but... Shadow Demon...
Body block? Oh,
Saving his
sick
life.
plays. Sania, my boy.
So now they get the kill on 33 over bottom, as I was paying attention top on the little bit of harass coming out on Clockwork, but they get a kill up top, now 2-0, not the hugest of leads.
It's good for them, though.
Yeah.
You want to be using this Night Stalker and getting some kills with him. He's TPing to base now to heal up. And I expect to see him run by mid. And this is what you do with Lina when you feel like you're pressured in the lane. You just go jungle. You send out a few clarities. If you can't afford Soul Ring and stuff, yeah, you ferry your bottle and you hit jungle creeps. And eventually, like, Puck will probably feel like he's going to push the wave in, and if you want, you can rotate back. Because I feel like the other option is you just have your Sand King sit behind you, but he's level 2. Level 1 stun isn't going to save you because of the short range. The damage is probably already done at that point. You know, Shadow Demons... He has to stop you taking the damage, which is super hard again.
So a bunch of heroes converging on this Puck. J4 gets the disruption. They're setting it up with Milan. He has Burrow Strike. They're not going to go for it. Actually, while that's happening, they've got the Night Stalker in a bit of trouble. The Dream Coil is going to come out on Kaiser. Kaiser's going to drop 3-0 in favor of this Lotus stack Cool Beans. They go after Insania, and should be a dead Crystal Maiden, but now they're with the Puck. It might be in a little bit of trouble. There's the Waning Rift. Illusory Orb forward, gets another kill, and still jumps to that Illusory Orb. And still this Puck is okay. Now they head for J4. Illusory Orb again. He'll blink forward on that. Waning Rift. Puck again with another kill. Mickey should be dead. There's the Laguna Blade, and dead you are.
I mean, that's nearly a 7-minute fail.
Dire's bottom
Yeah.
tower
He's going to be
is
pretty
under
happy
attack.
with that.
Radiant's middle tower
And that's
is
the
under
reason
attack.
why you, like, those supports didn't matter at all in
Dire's
that
bottom
situation.
tower
That's why
is
you
under
see
attack.
Lena's, like, just go jungle when they feel
Dire's
pressured.
structures are fortified.
And now we start to see the game ramp up. Like, Night Stalker's got his urn, he's level 5, the clock's level 5. Sven's probably gonna feel a bit unsafe in his lane.
He's gonna get hit and use that war cry. Maybe Nico can make something happen, but he doesn't have the hook shot, so they're not gonna continue to chase on this. Just him and come with me. Pressuring out this Sven as well as the Shadow Demon. And it forces now the Sven into the jungle. Kaiser's having a bad time early. We talked about what would be the way to stop them from kind of just playing their game for Planet Dog, and it's this early game. This early game has been pretty solid for this Cool Bean squad, and they're looking to ramp it up. Like you said, they'll have that Veil, get the blink out on Puck, and all of a sudden you're in a bunch of trouble if you're Planet Dog.
Yeah, and I feel like the way you stop that is instead of focusing on where the Radiant side are like putting their heroes and you just dodge that, you go to the Luna's lane. Because right now they're pretty much keeping her safe by putting aggression on the other side of the map, and now they're finally rotating down here, but it's daytime. They had a ward in the area, they didn't smoke. So Loda knows what's up, his support's coming down here, they probably have TP on the Puck. If they don't, then they're not going to play aggressively enough to get caught, you'd hope. Because they see the Sand King, they shouldn't get too caught out here, and if they do, it's just Insania, I hope. Don't let your Luna die, bro. Yeah, and now they know their bottom. One hero goes mid, Lena's dead.
You shall not.
He might even be able to solo kill him if he gets all the damage with Veil.
Gotta watch out if you're Kaiser, throwing forward that Illusory Orb.
And meanwhile, Clock's just free farming top at the tower while he has hookup, so if ever You go on a different lane, he's just going to TP, hook in. It looks really easy for them to play right now. Because these two supports don't like have a play from Planet Dog. They just like waiting for their cores. And that's never a good feeling. Like Sven, he's taking the jungle, Lena's taking the jungle, Darks is taking the jungle. Where do they go on the map? Sure, Sven King can kind of leech on lanes and get his levels that way, but still not ideal. If they get through this stage of the game without too many losses, I think they'll be pretty happy, but they got to keep their farm up while doing so. Otherwise, single core Luna is just gonna shred them.
Just seems like Planet Dog, they're in a bad situation where, like you said, they're splitting the jungle, and they're kind of cool beans. They're sitting back a little bit. Maybe
they're not doing anything stupid.
Yeah,
basically, they're waiting for night.
And with that waiting for night, though, that does give Kaiser and Sven a chance to farm. Maybe we don't see these pickoffs going the way of cool beans anymore.
They can go now though, like Night Stalker just got his 6 with the tomb, so if ever he wants to pop his ult, like he does now. How long does it last? 50, so he's gonna have like a 30-second downtime and then it's gonna be night again.
So let's see if they do go in on this. They've got Dream Coil on the ready. TPs are coming in from Planet Dog. They want to make a move towards this puck.
This is super obvious with how he's pushing the wave in and how Night Stalker pop Night. And they even scan it as well.
They scan, they know Night Stalker is there, and still Kaiser going to move relatively far forward. There's the Illusory Orb, and now he's going to be disrupted just to save his life. J4 trying to get away, and Night Stalker looks as though he'll be the one to die. Laguna Blade maybe a little bit unnecessary.
I think he wanted the kill for sure, and he had Arcane Rune, so... But, that's 5 heroes, killing 1. And they just smoked under a ward, I believe.
Yeah, but they're still going to try and go for more, and if Lotus stays too long, could be trouble. He does have a TP.
I think if he stays behind here, he's still going to die if they scan. They
don't have scan, they just use it on the Night Stalker.
Of course, sorry, my bad. I always assume that thing's up.
They do have the TP rotations, and maybe we just see Cool Beans turn this around because they've got the puck. They immediately smoke. That's going to be popped. But they know heroes are in the vicinity, and that's going to be the Night Stalker coming in. The Lucent Beam's going to hit on J4. There's the Eclipse disrupted, and that's going to stop him from really moving forward and getting themselves a bunch of damage. They've got the Dream Coil coming out on 3, and now they're looking for more with the hook shot. They've got the hook shot coming in on 2, as well as the Cogs. The wall's going to be placed down. They're going to lose themselves 4 heroes, and now they might even lose 5. They're only going to lose the Clockwork, and now Kaiser's the next one up to bat. For this Cool Beans squad, they take out all 5, and it is disastrous for the side of Planet Dog.
What they said.
Yeah.
Easy game. Puck's a good hero, man.
And really working well with what he's got. Even with that Eclipse kind of getting snipped by the disruption. They
just have like overwhelming amounts of damage now. Clock has a blade mail, so this is back in the day when like Leshrac, Lena, and those kind of heroes were the go-to mids. You'd pick Clock as your off laner, and that's how you'd shut them down. He's had a really good start as well. It doesn't quite show as much because he's not necessarily the most farmy hero, but he's got Treads, blade mail, 13 minutes in. That's amazing for a Clock. If ever he hooks on like Lena or whatever, it's really hard for her to play. And he doesn't really need to care about anyone else. If he can hook the Sand King when he's epiing, you know, it's nice. But he has one goal in this game, which is shut down Lena. And the rest of his team can do the rest. If they even need him to do that. Like, they have other heroes that can do it, like Puck, because he has Blink now. This might be a bit deep, but they just have so much damage so quick that they can't even respond. And I don't think they're killing the Puck, especially when he dodges. Is he just going to kill them? Yeah, he is.
He's actually going to get himself a kill on 33, gets himself out.
I think they might be tilting a bit now. That's a pretty tilt play.
Yeah, it was a lineup where, you know, you thought you could just play this game the way you want. Just it just doesn't work out. The early game has just been so, I would say, tilting.
Yeah, they just were never proactive at all.
Sven might be in a little bit of trouble. They get the Waning Rift, and now they're going to look for more. They've got the Veil Illusory Orb hitting out on him. Come with me. He might be able to get himself the kill. The Illusory Orb pushes this Puck forward, and they get the kill. Blink away. Lina, there's nothing you can do but watch. And
they're chasing the wrong hero.
Yeah, they're
well.
going to try and chase this Puck. He's got a Blink. He's got the Illusory Orb. He's not really the hero you can catch up with.
I'm kind of surprised about his skill build, though. Like, I suppose it's because he's playing from ahead. He put the extra level in coil for the extra damage and the health, so that he's harder to burst down. But you normally see people forgo these points and max the E, especially when you have a streak, because you get an early blink and then you're basically impossible to kill. Especially this game, like the only thing that is going to cause you any issues is like maybe a shadow poison over you when you phase shift. I think that's about it.
Most of these fights and these pickoffs have come without the Luna, too. You just...
And he's still, like, pretty happy. Just farming, uncontested. Like, every time there's been a fight, he's been nowhere near it. They haven't punished him for that. And now it's at a point where you can't really, because, he's pretty big.
So 33 J4 just looking over bottom. You've got Come With Me here with Loda just taking this ancient stack, farming just so much.
It's at a point now where you, as I was saying at the start, for playing Dog to just like play their game by farming, pushing out waves and stuff, they can't really do that anymore. They're going to need to make some kind of smoke moves, push in lanes with the Darkseer and catch someone with the Sven Blink. But unfortunately, the hero on the lane when they try and do that is the Puck. And we've already kind of gone over how he ain't dying.
Yeah.
Unless he really like misplaced. But he's been playing pretty well. So
This'll come in handy.
don't see that happening. Wouldn't bank on it if I was the other team.
Radiant's bottom tower
And now
is
they
under
try and make
attack.
that play, they fail because of the hero that's in the lane, and they just all go back to trying to farm. And it's depressing as hell to watch. And it's probably even worse to be playing it. Because they know they can't win by out farming right now. It's going to get to a point where the Luna's going to get an Aegis, and then they're going to start seizing map control. Even more so than they already have with like the Night Stalker and some of their wards. Which I think have all died out now.
So
So they've got a few more to place.
if it looks this grim, it looks this bad, what's your game plan? Where's your win scenario if you're playing it, Dog? Do you just try to slow down the game, hope Sven gets enough farm to really turn around these fights?
Slowing down the game's good, but I don't think it's enough. You want to like... ideally, you bait them into some kind of situation. So like, the fights they want to take are when Sven's taking Ancients, or... You know, they think this hero's on its own and you counter gank. And unfortunately, their tool of doing that is Sven right now, because he's the Blink hero. Sven King's still pretty far away. And he's still only level 7, so he doesn't even have the skills to farm, which is kind of sad. But slow the game down and bait them into a bad fight. Like if they can fight around their shrine while the other team kind of overcommit, that's good. But I mean, I don't see it being
Dire's
easy.
top tower is under attack.
with flair.
I mean, I have all the information. I can't come up with a feasible play.
Patience from Zoe.
Unless your players, the other team, walk like 4 heroes into the tier 4s for some, you know, it's desperation. And Darkseer's not even opting to finish his mech, he's just foregoing it to get a blink because it's such a late timing. The mech would be irrelevant right now.
Just so many of these heroes on planet Dog so far behind that they're almost heavily relying on both the Lina as well as the Sven to pull them out of this hole.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Feel like the way it goes right is maybe Kaiser gets a couple of kills with this Bloodstone. Because you lose that Bloodstone immediately, it just looks terrible.
Dire's top tower.
Well, this is good for them. They're taking a trade. Trades are always good when you're behind. Sand King is noticeably closer to his blink now. Problem is, I think that they're gonna lose another tier 2 here, and the chances of them taking this one I don't think are too high. But that depends on like what Loader wants to do. Does he want to go fight?
He could force them back on tier 3s with Luna, where you know, if you lose that tier 3, you really open up the base. I don't think Planet Dog are really willing to risk that.
Well, this is what they want to do now. They want these heroes moving down, catch them out, and then you TP in, and that saves their tier 2. If they get a Sand King as well, then that's kind of nice.
Trying to TP out, hook shot comes in from Nikwa, and an easy kill come with him.
Yeah, and now the line's being drawn. Insania is pushing mid with his ult. Misses one creep, but you know, it's whatever. He's pretty farmed as well. He's got a glimmer. Kill's pretty nice.
Very farmed.
Yeah, he went back from Midas. So he's gonna keep up with the people on top pretty easily.
Yeah, he's gonna go for that Ags coming in next.
He's getting a force. He's got the recipe in his bag, which I think is better than Ags here. I mean, Ags is really nice, but I think you win the team fight with one hook anyway, if it's a good hook. Even if it's a mediocre hook, you know, as long as it's not terrible. And the Force Staff is going to allow you to get your Luna out of bad spots. If she ever gets in any.
So they're just going to continue to push, look for the last outer tower. And, you know, there's not much Planet Dog can do about it. They're just kind of stuck hoping they can farm enough to really work their magic on the high ground defense, and with what they've got, it's not too easy for them, especially if they lose this Sand King again. He just gets away from the last hit coming from the Night Stalker, but the urn is there, and that'll tick up, get the kill.
Basically, how Dog are looking at this game now is each after tower was a resource that they're willing to give away in exchange for as much CS as they can get. Problem is, once you lose all of them, you're kind of at a point where you need to have something. So Sven's got his BKB in 700, just under. Lena's still a good chunk away from hers, unfortunately, and that might be what allows them to take the fight. And Daxter gets his blink, and those two cores have their BKB. It's not gonna necessarily win them the fight though, because Luna hits pretty hard, Puck with his 50 damage talent hits pretty hard. Night Stalkers at night time with a Solar Crest is gonna chunk you, and they're gonna find another free kill here.
And Sand King dying again. They do use the Dream Coil, but it's another kill for them. They're up 16,000 net worth. It's just
1k per kill, man.
Yeah, grim.
Valuable kills. And he was close to his blink as well. So like, the high ground defense is perfectly feasible if they got those tools. But now it might be at a point where they can get one Rax before those tools are available.
Try to get yourselves a bottom tier 2 and try to trade. It's just...
There's no trade now.
Yeah, they're forced to go back. They open up these racks, and with the way it's just gonna bounce around from the Luna, you can't risk losing your base like that. Racks will make this just 10 times harder. You don't have the items to really deal with it, so you're forced to come back and can't give up that rack.
And the Radiant play super safe here as well. They opt to back off with the Aegis, not take any unnecessary fight. They probably could take the fight with the information we have as spectators. But they don't know how close Sand King is to Blink, they don't know how close Sven is to BKB. They could sell one small item, get it, and surprise them. So right now they just push the lanes in, Puck pushes the other side, they force them to stay in the base, they limit their economy, they win the long game, in effect. Not the long game, but...
This is a moment where Sven needs to watch out too. He's got that BKB, but if he's dead, that's it.
He can't blink because of the Blaves either.
He's got no buyback, buying out that BKB, so this is kind of an all-or-nothing high ground defense for him.
Barracks are under attack.
I definitely agree with buying the item though. A buyback doesn't really do anything when you lose a fight in this situation because your team's probably also dying, and then you're buying back one hero.
So Dota just gonna move forward. Lucent Beam comes out on Kaiser, the Glimmer Cape.
Oh, that's a
Keep
misplay.
him ready. J4 gonna disrupt himself, not the play, and they're gonna lose that range Rax. So now, all really Planet Dog can do is watch as they continue to lose their buildings to the bouncing of these glaives. They need to find their moment, they need to find their opportunity, and to me it looks like it may just be to let the Rax go.
Yeah, well, they need like to bait a jump or something if they're gonna take a fight at all, because they have their blink on Sand King now. They have level 4 vacuum on Dark here, but when Luna's showing here and the other heroes are like here, there's no 2-hero jump. There's only the Aegis that you're getting to, and Luna's the best hero at zoning people out because of glaives bouncing all the time.
So still looking to finish off this set of racks. They're looking for the melee racks next. They got the effigy, got the range racks, and again, Planet Dog, all they're doing is just kind of watching. They're hoping that Loda just steps a little bit too far forward, but at the same time, all that gets you is the Aegis, and they'll lose that top set of racks. So, they take their first set of racks 25 minutes in, and
They still have a
Planet
minute.
Dog, they might actually find themselves a kill on Puck. There's the God Strength. The Stormhammer comes out. They're going to line it up with the stun coming in from Kaiser, and they get the kill.
How much gold do they get for that?
606 on Kaiser. We take a look at the fight recap. Worth
2.3.
so much in terms of a net worth switch. And now the hook
That's
shot
a
comes in.
PKB.
It is just a sad Milan all day. Silent Solar Crest dead.
He's gonna have to BKB here, isn't he?
Kaiser still
Okay,
running away. Doesn't need a BKB just yet. Surge forward. J4 going to be slowed up.
That would have been a disaster. But they'll happily trade the Sand King for the Puck. They could have probably got away with the Sand King not dying, but he wanted to push the wave. And in situations like this, teams tend to get a bit greedy, so you can't blame them too much when they get picked like that.
You know, they pick Shadow Demon. And the first day of open qualifiers, from what I saw, Ogre Magi had 80% win rate. It always comes back to Koos. He's my idol. Love that man.
What if he was a Shadow Demon player all along, though, and they could have had 100% win rate with Shadow Demon instead of Ogre? You'll never know.
Yeah, but I know that his Ogre is so good. So good.
Shadow Demon has a higher skill cap. You know, if he's body blocking with Ogre, he could be body blocking 2 heroes with 2 illusions. Think of that shit.
So then Sonya is actually going to spot out this Sven, and now, oh boy. Darkseer, you are trying to TP out. Can the Crystal Maiden get there in time? No! Just going to get out the Dream Coil used! Ugh!
First misplay.
21k up, it's all falling apart.
I wish I could be optimistic that that's true, but...
Anything is possible. Still have 2 racks on the board, yet your Ancient's still standing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We've seen
it's
worse.
winnable.
Is under attack.
You know, Kaiser getting a little bit of farm. Has that
But Luna has
BKB.
Scatty now, like, that's the problem. The whole single core thing works really well with this situation. Because the farm's not really even split that much. The only reason Puck's so farmed is because he's been having a godly game and killing everyone. And Luna's... Admittedly, her talents suck, so she doesn't really need any more levels. to do anything more. It's just about waiting for Roshan now. The only thing I feel like they could really add is a gem, which they haven't picked up yet. So you just like further their map control. But to be honest, we can see that the wards on the Dire side is so defensive it doesn't really matter that much.
They're thinking about it. Oh no!
And that's actually really bad for them because it's going to give a lot of time. Because look where the lanes are right now. This lane's in, this lane's in. If someone was pushing these out, they'd be showing. Or they'd be like about to show, right? So that kind of gives you the information that heroes are all here.
It sucks.
Puck has BOTs, so he can. I mean, BOTing into that wave is pretty risky, but he'll probably just run down. And if they want to take a fight, they can, for sure. They just need to delay it, 10 seconds for the heroes to get there, and then they're Gucci. Or they can just back off and waste some movement, and Puck can like TP up here, push this wave in, and force them back that way.
So yeah, it just sucks for Planet Dog because they got scanned right before that.
Yeah, and they have no idea of that either. Like, it's the best thing about scan. The other team has no idea. It's one of the best things they implemented in this game in years.
It's going to be interesting for them to go over there. I would assume they think they're going over there thinking that, you know, Cool Beans don't know.
Well,
this could be it.
These kind of plays work when you do them quickly, and the other team's not ready for them yet. But this pause is just super unfortunate. Yeah, okay, so you see the plan from Insania, they're going to back off.
Yeah, just
Puck's going to go push waves. They're going to waste this entire movement. And now they're even going to go show on the wave, so I think they knew that because of the pause, the likelihood of that play working is very minimal.
It's unfortunate for them because if a play like that sets up well enough, that's what you need to do to really pull yourself out of this trench of 22,000 net worth deficit.
It could have been the play, because they would have had a 3-on-5 fight, at least for the first 10 seconds, if they got a good initiation.
You get a nice burst on maybe the Crystal Maiden or kill off the Luna.
I mean, I think even if they have like 5 seconds to focus for Luna, they might not kill her.
She's
pretty tank.
But, you know, you hope.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they have to hope for. Like Sven critting 3 in a row, getting some crit hacks downloaded on his PC in the pause, implement them, go. They also have Ags on clock now, so he's going to be able to disrupt the fights even more. So there's more Feels Bad Man coming out on the Dire side.
Very rough. They pick up the gem. They've got the Ags on the Night Stalker.
Did he get the gem as well?
Gem was on the Clockwork. It was bought by Clockwork at least.
Alright, so it's in base still. So they probably want to grab that. Roche will spawn in a minute and a half or so. Just over. With how Mickey's playing, just constantly shoving this wave in, the mid lane's going to get pushed out whenever it gets anywhere near the tier 1. And Clockwork can take care of the bottom lane. It's going to be really obvious when Planet Dog want to make a move.
Oh, Blink, Burrow Strike short. Oh boy, Mon. They'll still continue to sit back and farm. Sven is getting pretty close to that data list, so with the crit stick alone, what can he do? Make anything happen?
He needs RNG on his side, if he even gets to the Daedalus. I'm not even sure what Lena gets. Like, Force Staff is an option against Clock, but it's kind of too late. It's too small, I feel like. Maybe... I mean, Shiva's would be nice, but again, I don't think it does enough on its own. The game is hard, you know, they don't need one item, they need 1.5 or 2. Right, Maelstrom's a decent option, actually. pretty damage efficient for the price. I suppose Shadow Blade was the other option, but you don't really want to do that into Ags, Night Stalker with Big Gem.
So they smoke up Maelstrom in the backpack and try and use that knowledge and everything, but the hook shot comes out towards the creeps. They're trying to slow him up. They slow up Nico for just a moment. Let's see if they can get a kill. They're going to blink on forward with Swift Ending. If they can get him, he's got the blade mail popped. And now they're moving it up. They've got the Dream Coil coming through, and that's going to stun up Lina. The center seems to be on the back end of this fight. They will end up getting themselves the kill in the Crystal Maiden. Meanwhile, following it up, it's going to be Shadow Demon who ends up dropping the Clockwork. Is going to get another hook. They've got the God Strength of Swift Ending, who's put himself back into the cogs, and now they've got the Eclipse falling down on this entire side of Planet Dog. They've only lost 3, and by only, that still makes up 60% of their team. It looks as though they'll lose Swift Ending. 4 die, no buyback on the Lina or the Sven. GG, well played is called by Planet Dog, and this is Cool Beans moving on to the regional qualifiers.
Under attack. Radiant victory.
Pretty easy game in the end for them. Just felt like they were the ones dictating the entire game, and that wins you games. If the other team's just playing purely reactive and then playing from behind, it's so hard when you have to make perfect moves, and if the other team's not thinking about it, they might hit. But it's just like, you look at the way they get back into the game and you play around that, and they did it.
You just look at this lineup, and where it all went wrong is that early game. We said the only way they really lose this game is if their early game is atrocious, and it was, and it showed that. Just picked it up. Puck had a great game. You have 4-0 on Loda. Night Stalker just making some great moves with that puck, and that's Cool Beans moving on to the regional qualifiers.
Yeah, Mickey MVP for sure. I feel like the solo kill just set the pace for the entire game.
Yeah, that was, you see that solo kill on the Lina. Maybe there's a lot of pressure on them for Planet Dog because they're down 1-0, and all of a sudden
you could definitely see it.
Yeah,
I think once he died, he didn't know what to do because he knew the scenario I mentioned in his head, and it's like, well, I can't go to the lane because this is going to happen, and he just, if you die to a smoke gank or something, it's different. A, the experience is split, so it's slightly different, and B, you don't feel as bad. When you get solo killed and you basically lose the matchup based entirely on that, it tilts you a bit. And then you saw the problem with their draft when they got behind was like they had these 3 heroes that had to have jungle farm to get back in.
Yep.
And they never once pressured Luna. Like, I'd like to see the amount of damage she took in the first 15 minutes of that game. If it's above 1,000, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, it was a pretty easy game for Loda, and with that, they're going to end up moving on. That's it for
Well deserved.
Yeah, very well done. They'll be playing off against Alliance. That should be fun to watch. And that's it from us for EU qualifiers. I still am technically on for another hour, and NA starts up again in 15 minutes, so maybe we'll do a best of 1 after a short break. But I'm your caster, BCop, at BCop92 on Twitter. Tell me how I did. Criticize me as best you want. I'm always trying to look for advice to get better. And I'm joined here by PQMZ, at PQMZ Dota_. So, with that, hopefully soon, maybe do a game of NA before I hand it over to Grant, or maybe he wants to take it over at the start of NA. I'll tell you more when I know. Thank you guys for watching. Really do appreciate it. And we'll be right back.
Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
The tournament commences. 5 creatures.
I challenge you!